What's up everyone, it's Brendan Miller from Prime Focus Goalkeeping, and today we are excited to introduce the first episode of our goalkeeping training technique analysis. In this episode, we will break down low ball technique to help teach goalkeepers how to deal with different situations and utilize a variety of techniques. Let's dive in and learn a bit more.
All right, so today we're going to start with a little low ball technique. All right, so typically we've got 3 different techniques that we like to use when catching a low ball. Now, when we talk about low balls, we're talking about balls typically straight at the goalkeeper or in an area where they can get down and either do a front smother, a block, or a basket type catch, a scoop. All right, so we'll start out. We want to start out with, I like to start out teaching my goalkeepers on how the basics of catching the ball. Right, so we're going to start out, we're just going to have the goalkeeper go down and catch with their hands, right? Focusing on shaping your hands to where you can catch the ball as opposed to just having your hands behind and blocking it, right? So there's a little bit difference between letting the ball come in versus having a barrier there. All right, we want to focus on catching the ball. So what we're going to do with the goalkeeper, we're going to have them legs a little bit wider. All right, all it's going to be, ball's going to come in. They're going to go down, they're going to catch, and they're going to squeeze it, right? Rolling it back to me, ball comes in, catch and squeeze. Now freeze there. Let's freeze there again. Let's look at the technique of it, right? So ball's on the ground, hands are behind, right? Hands are not quite flat here, right? Because if they're flat, then we can't squeeze the ball, right? We have to look at hands shaped a little bit towards the ball so the ball has a cushion to come into, and we're catching and squeezing. Focusing on squeezing the ball as opposed to, roll the ball back to me. As opposed to, ball comes in, right? And we don't have our hands shaped to where we can squeeze the ball. Now, this is big for me because this right here, let's look at the ball here. This right here is a basis for how we start to do our front smother, how we start to do our scoop, right? We're building in the building blocks here. So, ball to me, please. Right, so what we like to do, we'll go 5 straight here, focusing on catching and squeezing every single time. Ball comes in, catching and squeezing. Looking at the shape of your hands. If you get on the side, can we focus on getting our hands behind? Let's go 2 more. Good. Every single time, head down towards the ball, hands behind the ball. Good. Right, so that's a key. That's a basic for me of catching and holding the ball, learning how to catch and squeeze the ball. From there, different coaches like to go into different methods. For me, I am a big fan of the front smother, right? But other goalkeeper coaches like to work on the scoop, right? So talking about the scoop, essentially, we're working on building a ramp, right? So ball comes in, that ball is going to ramp up your hands and go into your body, in between elbows tight, and you're squeezing the ball in there. Ball back here. Now, we want to work on catching the ball in the beginning because with the problems we have with the scoop, right, as the pace starts to pick up, that ball comes in, it can bounce around a little bit, right? So let's build that barrier there. Show me the scoop barrier there, right? If these elbows aren't tight, or if that ball comes in and bounces a little bit and it's bouncing off of our forearms here, it's going to make it a lot tougher for a goalkeeper to hold it and create that area where the ball can come in, right? So let's look at the basic technique first. Ball's coming in. Notice how his elbows are a little bit tighter. Yep, ball back to me. Elbows are a little bit tighter as the ball comes in. If his elbows aren't tight, it can slip through. And then if my legs are open, the ball can slip through there, right? So focusing on elbows a little bit tighter, watching the ball all the way in and keeping it secure in there, right? There's not a problem there. But as we start to back up, as that ball starts to come in at a bit more pace, or maybe it's bouncing in, right? It may become a bit tougher if he doesn't have the technique perfect to hold the ball. So the next technique that we want to talk about is the front smother. All right, so we talked about catching the ball low. Right, we talked about the ramp catch. Now we want to talk about the front smother. Now the basis of the front smother for me, what I always tell my goalkeepers, the basis of a front smother is catching the ball. Right, so the problem a lot of goalkeepers have is they get set here, that front smother comes in and they're automatically going forward without worrying about catching the ball. Right, their last focus is catching the ball as opposed to it being their first focus. Right, so with a front smother, I want to go really slow here. So what I want you to do, that ball comes in, I want you to catch it, hold it, and then I want you to bring it in, take it to ground. Okay, so make it a very slow process. Right, we want to break it down piece by piece. So the first piece is catching the ball, right? First piece is catching the ball. Then we go down to the ground. right? But I want you to focus even more so on just catching and squeezing. So it's catching and squeeze, then we bring it in, then we take it to ground, all right? So we go here, catch and squeeze, boom, bring it in, take it to ground, all right? Focusing on each aspect of the front smother. Let's go a little bit more pace now. Boom, catch, boom, and we're down, right? Now, different goalkeepers and different goalkeeper coaches will teach different things, right? Some goalkeeper coaches like for you to get your knee behind the ball, come in, and then go to ground. It's really what your preference is, right? But we can do a barrier behind, but the focus is catching the ball, right? So ball comes in, catch, boom, there we go. Now, I want you to notice, ball's coming down the middle, right? But sometimes he's ending up left side, right side. And there's a reason for that, because most of the time a ball's not just gonna come right down the middle, right? And so your momentum sometimes doesn't always take you forward. Another thing, if the ball goes one side or the other, or you take your momentum one side or the other, it allows you to bring that knee down, I catch, and then I go this way, or I bring my knee down, I catch, and I go this way, right? So let's look at when the ball goes one side or the other, right? So it's the same thing. Ball comes to this side a bit. I catch, I take it to ground, right? Notice that his right foot steps to the right side. When the ball is on his right side, now left side, step, catch, take it to ground. All right, let's pick up the pace a little bit. We want to do a few. Still focusing on the different aspects, catching it, bringing it in, taking it to ground, right? A little bit more pace now. Boom, good. Focus on that catch and squeeze. Great technique. Now, the one thing I want you to notice now, as the ball starts to go one side or the other, now we have the pads here for a reason. This is an area I want us to be comfortable, right? From far enough distance. Obviously from 6 yards away, it's a little bit tougher, but from a far enough distance, if I have to move my feet and go here, I should be able to do that. If I have to make a quick movement here and do the same, I should be able to do that, right? But a big problem that a lot of goalkeepers have is ball comes in, they're expecting the ball to go right down the middle, and then it ends up to the side, and we end up putting our hands out like this, as opposed to being here and adjusting our feet. So not every ball is going to come right down the middle, but that's not what is required for a front smother technique. We can still use the front smother, but we also have to be able to use our feet to adjust behind the ball. All right, let's do a couple more. I want to put a little bit more pace on these balls. I want you to be able to use your feet and get your body behind them, okay? Here we go. Good reaction. Focus on that squeeze. Can we squeeze the ball every single time? Good step. Good, let's go one more. Good. And you'll see as the pace starts to pick up, it makes it a little bit harder for the ball to come in cleanly, right? So can we focus on, sometimes we have to just kill the ball. So we're gonna pick up the pace. This is the last one we're gonna talk about. Picking up the pace a little bit here. What happens when the ball comes in really fast, right? We may not have time to get down into a front smother. We may not be comfortable with that. The ball may be moving a little bit. How do we just deal with a ball that's hit at a ton of pace, but it's coming in our area and we still have to deal with it? All right, so the big thing I want us to focus on, go back to the very first thing we talked about. What was the very first thing we talked about?
Holding the ball.
Just holding the ball, right? Getting our hands behind it, creating that barrier. So we talked about creating the shape for the ball to come in. It's really easy when the ball's coming slower or at a medium pace. But what happens when the ball picks up, right? The pace of the ball picks up. There's people in front of you, maybe moving a little bit. How do we deal with balls that are in this area, right, that we may not be able to hold? All right, so I want you to go out there now. So you'll see it a lot with high-level goalkeepers, professional goalkeepers, where that ball comes in at pace and we just end up blocking it down and then recovering, right? So let's go again. Ball comes in at pace. Sometimes we'll get here and we'll just block it and control where the ball goes to recover the second time. So I'm here, I'm set, I'm ready, ball comes in, and I'm here, right? If I don't feel confident in holding it, how do I control the ball to where it ends up in front of me and I can recover? As opposed to ball comes in, and it bounces out because I'm not ready to catch, right? We have to be able to make decisions on when I'm going to hold the ball, when I'm going to control the ball, or when I'm going to parry the ball, right? So ball comes in, Maybe I hold that one. Ball comes in at pace again here. I'm set. I control it, and I'm able to recover. So I'm in, ball comes in at pace, and sometimes I have to guide it out wide because it's a little too fast. All right, seeing the different options that we have. We got a simple hold. We've got the scoop. We've got the front smother. And we've got controlling the ball so that we can then recover. So now we're going to hit in some balls and make our goalkeeper make decisions, right? Is he just going to hold? Is he going to do a front smother, a simple scoop, or is he going to control where the ball goes? All right? Good. Notice how different pace of the ball, there's a different decision. As the pace of the ball starts to pick up, right? Do I hold it or do I go into a front smother? Notice where his feet are stepping. Notice how he gets his chest down low, elbows tight. There we go. Good. So those are a lot of the variations of dealing with a low ball in our area that we want to be able to maximize our ability to control and hold the ball. All right, we've got a few different options there. Different coaches try different styles. The main thing is making the decision. Am I going to hold the ball or am I going to parry the ball? All right, the indecision is what leads to rebounds right in front and us giving up goals. All right, so mastering different techniques is not a bad idea. Being able to hold it on a low ball, being able to get your knee down just in case, being able to scoop the ball up, being able to do a front smother, right? Controlling where the ball goes. These are all aspects of goalkeeping that we've got to be able to master. So that's it for low balls. Continue to stay focused on our channel. We've got plenty more educational tips on different goalkeeping techniques that are coming soon. Thanks for watching, guys.
And that's a wrap. Let us know what you think about the analysis and any techniques that you may use in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to stay up on the latest video releases, goalkeeper glove highlights, and more. You can also follow us on our other social media platforms and head to our website, www.primefocusgoalkeeping.com. Until next time, stay focused.